He's not in the room. He hasn't been for years. Maybe he's across the country. Maybe he's been dead a long time. Maybe you just stopped calling. And he is still casting the deciding vote in every room you walk into. You think you grew up and left him behind. You didn't. You took the verdict he handed you, what you're worth, what you have to do to be worth anything at all, and you carried it out the door at 18 and into every room since. The interview, the bedroom, the text you stared at for an hour before sending. You walk in already braced for it. Here's the part you don't want to hear. You're still trying to win a case that closed a long time ago. By the end of this, you'll see why a man who isn't even there still runs you, why the wins feel hollow, and the one move that finally overturns a verdict that old. Let's get into it. Let me show you where he actually lives now, not in the past. In your week, you get the win. The promotion, the number, the thing you swore would feel different. There's a half second of relief, and then the floor opens, the bar moves, and you're hungry again. The win is never the win. You've felt that 100 times and never known why. A man with power over you, a boss, an older guy, gives you a flat look or a clipped reply, and it wrecks your whole evening. Notice the size of that. A grown man getting mild feedback feels mild about it. What you feel is bigger than the moment. A flush, a tightening, an urgent need to fix it or fight it. That gap between what actually happened and how hard it landed is him, the old man riding in on the new one. Or it runs the other way. You can't want anything out loud. You go along, you disappear in your own life. You wonder why you have no edges. Or you scan every room for the storm before it comes and call it being perceptive. It isn't. It's vigilance, installed young, that never fully switches off. And you can probably feel which father did it. The absent one who taught you, I wasn't worth staying for, so now you need no one. The critical one, never satisfied, so the bar jumps the second you reach it. The passive one, who took up no space, so neither do you. The volatile one, whose mood was the weather, so you still read every room for the strike. Most fathers are a blend, and most sons carry a blend. You don't have to file him neatly. Just feel which weather you grew up under, because it's still in your bones. Which one made you flinch just now? That flinch is the door. Now the part I have to say carefully. The research on father absence is real. It's a measurable headwind across decades of studies, but associated, not destiny. Correlational, not a sentence. So here both halves. The wound is real, and it is not a verdict. The headwind is real, and you are still the one steering. But you can't steer what you can't see. So let's go see it. Here's the trap, and it's a clean one. The father running you isn't your father. It's the image of him you built as a kid, with a kid's information and a kid's fear. Jung had a word for it, the father imago. You took the biggest, most overwhelming man in your early world, and you installed a model of him. And a model is frozen. It doesn't update. It doesn't age. It doesn't soften the way the real man might have softened. It runs the same verdict it ran when you were 9, forever, in the dark of you. That's the voice, the one that narrates your failures in the second person. You idiot, you blew it. Who do you think you are? You think that's you talking. It isn't. Listen to the cadence sometime. That's not your voice. It's his, or your reading of his, looping on a tape you didn't know was still playing. And it doesn't stop at him. For Jung, that first father becomes the template for all authority. The boss, the mentor, the institution, any man who can grant you or deny you. Your mind files him under the same heading as the first big man you ever feared. So you don't react to your boss. You react to your boss through your father. That's why the reaction is too big. You're not in the meeting. You're back in the kitchen, 8 years old, reading the face for the verdict. But here's the reframe that changes everything, so don't rush past it. The verdict he handed you usually wasn't even about you. It was about him. The thing he needled you about, the dream he mocked, the ambition he couldn't stand to watch you have, or the thing he drove you toward like his life depended on it. Look underneath, and it's the same shape every time. The life he didn't get to live. The man he wanted to be and wasn't. Jung said it flat. Nothing has a stronger influence psychologically on their children than the unlived life of the parent. The strongest thing a father transmits isn't what he did, it's what he failed to do and never made peace with. The unlived life doesn't die with the man. It looks for a back to ride out on, and that back was yours. You've spent your life trying to be enough for a verdict that was secretly about a man you never even met, the father he didn't become. So you cannot win an argument that was never about you, but you keep trying anyway. And there are two ways men do it. Both are the same trap in different clothes. Some men appeal the conviction, still trying to win him. The achievement, the money, the body, the proof, bring it all back to the bench and look up. Is it enough now? And when the man is gone, the appeal just finds substitutes. The boss who can't praise you enough. The audience that can't clap loud enough. The woman whose approval you need so badly you can't actually be with her, only perform for her. You're not chasing success. You're chasing a verdict, and you've hired the whole world to deliver it. They can't. They were never the judge. That's why the win is never the win. No outside verdict can close an inside court. Other men rage against the bench, burn it down, become everything he wasn't on purpose as a statement. I'll show you. But here's the cruel joke. If you organize your whole life around being his opposite, he's still the one drawing the map. You're just driving the other way down his road. Rebellion is obedience with the sign flipped. The volatile man's son, who goes so cold and controlled he frightens the people who love him, didn't escape his father. He inherited him in negative. Appeal or rebel both keep you the defendant, both keep the dead court in session. So the move isn't a better argument, it's to walk out of the courtroom, and the exit runs straight through the one room men refuse to enter. The room is grief, specifically the grief you skipped. Most men never mourn their father, even the ones whose fathers are dead. They mourn the man who died, that's allowed, that's a funeral. But they never mourn the father they needed and didn't get. The one who was supposed to show up, say the words, put a hand on the shoulder, hand down a verdict of, "You're all right, son, you always were." That father never existed, and you never got to bury him because the world never agreed he was real. So you skipped it. You armored up instead. You called the numbness strength, and the manosphere will sell you that numbness as power. Need no one, feel nothing, dominate the room. I get why the armor's appealing. It got you through the years when feeling it would have broken you, and back then it was mercy. But it was built for a boy, and you are not a boy, and you're still wearing it to bed. Armor isn't strength. It's a man holding a door shut against a room he's terrified to enter. And let me name the fear, because it's the real reason men won't go near this. You think if you let yourself feel how much it hurt, how much you wanted him, how long you waited, you'll drown in it. That it has no bottom. It does. Grief isn't a pit. It's a passage. It has a far side. What has no bottom is the avoiding. The decades of holding the door. The low background ache you've mistaken for your personality. You've been paying the higher price your whole life to dodge the lower one. So you feel it. Once. All the way through. The boy who waited. The want that never got answered. The grief you decided didn't count. And on the far side of it, the verdict stops mattering, because the one who needed it has finally been heard. By you. Then you take the bench. The old traditions called this refathering, and it isn't a metaphor you read, it's a thing you do. You become, for yourself, the father you needed. You catch that old second-person voice, "You idiot, you blew it," and you answer it in the voice of a father who's got your back. No. You're learning. Try again. I'm not going anywhere. Here's the move, tonight, before you talk yourself out of it. Step 1. Name the sentence. Finish this out loud. My father taught me that to be worth anything, I have to. Maybe it's be useful. Never need anyone, never make a mistake. Stay small so he stays calm. Whatever falls out of your mouth, that is the verdict you've been serving, and it loses something the second it's not a secret anymore. Step 2. Hand down your own. Put an empty chair in front of you and say to it what you needed to hear at 10. Not the apology he should have given. The verdict you're finally old enough to deliver yourself. You were a good boy. It was never your job to earn me. Say it as the father, not the son. You become your own father in the saying of it. Do it once, it will feel absurd, and then somewhere in the middle of it, it won't. That's the power you actually wanted, underneath the dominance and the armor and the "I'll show him." Not to beat him, not to win the room, to stop needing the room's permission at all. A man who's handed down his own verdict walks into the meeting, the date, the hard conversation, and there's no second voice narrating his worth because he settled it already, in the quiet, with no one watching. The clipped email is just an email. The win is finally allowed to be a win. He can want things out loud. He can get close to people without performing for them, because he's not auditioning for a judge anymore. That's not coldness. It's the steadiest thing a man can become. And notice what this isn't. It isn't forgiving him if you're not ready. It isn't a reconciliation call you owe anyone. He doesn't have to change. He doesn't have to be sorry. He doesn't even have to be alive. Becoming your own father is not something he grants you. It's something you take. Quietly, without his signature, because the court that needed his signature is closed. That's the click. The court doesn't reopen. A new judge takes the bench. And the verdict, this time, is one you can finally live with, because for the first time, it's yours. If you want to actually do this and not just hear it, the free 7-day starter walks you through the first moves, one a day, in your own time. First link below. The shadow work workbook goes deeper, the empty chair work included, when you're ready to sit down with it. Right under it. Then tell me one line in the comments. Finish it. My father taught me that to be worth anything, I have to blank. Just the blank. Reading other men's, you'll realize how many rooms you were never alone in. Next time, the other half of the verdict, the mother wound. The first relationship that wired how you give and take love, and why it's quietly running the way you love right now. I'll see you there.